Hello, welcome to the Vicarage. I am loving this translation of Beowulf by Tolkien. Yet it's not in poetry. You don't get the original poetic feel, but Tolkien was focusing on accuracy of the meaning of the words, and I'm loving it. Been reading about Grendel, and I've done one video on Grendel. We need to talk more about Grendel. So I think in the last video on Grendel, I was saying, oh, offspring of Cain, what's that all about? Is it a thing where Cain was sleeping with some sort of demon women, like the tradition about Adam and Lilith, maybe? And then I think I also pointed out Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, when the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives of them, whoever they chose. Then verse 4, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These were mighty men who were of old, men of renown. You can read more about that in the book of Enoch. Basically, angels coming to earth and sleeping with human women, and these great giants were born, sort of semi-spiritual, physical giant beings, of which that happened before the flood and after. But anyway, bottom line, offspring of Cain. Well, it's the offspring of Shem that survived the flood, Noah and his family. It wasn't descendants of Cain. So anyone who was a descendant of Cain would have died in the flood. And so Grendel must be dead. This commentary talks about, commentary written by Tolkien at the back here, it talks about the undead. And Tolkien's translation describing Grendel, then the fierce spirit that abode in darkness. I mean, why can't Grendel do anything in the sunlight hours? Why is he confined to the darkness? It says of Cain, all evil broods were born ogres and goblins and haunting shapes of hell. And the giants too, that long time warred with God. The haunting shapes of hell. Can I also just say, Grendel and his mum live at the bottom of a lake. Can we just, admit that's weird? Do normal living entities that are not undead, do they live at the bottom of lakes? I don't think so. The translation keeps saying demon. I think, do you know what I think? Here's what I think. I think Grendel did die in the flood. I think he was, I don't know whether it was a Nephilim thing from that fallen angels, whether it was Cain with the demon, I don't know. But I think Grendel died in the flood, and his mum. But they're undead. They're here on Earth. Helpful way to think about this is vampires. Seriously, because vampires are dead, but they're here and able to have physical impacts on the world. You can't see a vampire in a mirror because it's a spirit, but able to have physical impact, like Grendel. So you can be a spirit, but able to have massive physical impact, like, hiking off with 30 knights in one go. Then you say, well, Beowulf rips his arm off. How do you do that? Well, you can rip a vampire's arm off, I'm sure. And anyway, in the Bible, we see spiritual entities doing a whole lot of spiritual things, like what I've already quoted from Genesis about the sons of God, these angels coming and sleeping with human women. That's having physical impact, isn't it? Or think about things like Acts 12, verse 7. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood next to him. Light shone, he struck Peter on the side and woke him up. There you go. Angel is striking Peter, waking him up. A spiritual entity able to do physical things. Notice that it says here in Beowulf that no weapon, this fierce slayer in his savagery to weapons gives no heed. So it's as though, you fire an arrow into him and nothing happens? It seems to be the case. For 14 winters he's attacked and nothing can stop him. He's a spirit able to have physical impact. Now, I have put a video link down in the description from the Learning Old English YouTube channel. That's what got me really thinking about Grendel as a spirit. It's a very good video, but in that video, he is taking a more pagan perspective, and he is saying, oh, well, Beowulf is a Christian writer taking a pagan narrative and putting a Christian gloss on it. But I think by what I've been saying, the biblical references that I've given, I mean, maybe that's the case, but not necessarily. I think everything that it says about Grendel fits completely with what Scripture says. This idea that a spiritual being can have physical impact. The idea, I mean, there's giants in the Bible, like Goliath, for instance. This idea that there are corrupted, dark creatures on the earth that are physical but are actually of a more dark spiritual nature, that's in the Bible. Or see the Book of Enoch for more on that. So yeah, that's why I think Grendel is a dark spirit who's able to do physical impact. He's undead, like he's died. He's damned, a haunting shape of hell, like he's described as. And he's just not in hell, he's just terrorizing Earth. Okay, cheerio. Bye.